All right, so today we're doing something a little different. We're not just reviewing a product, we are dissecting it. We're going to go under the hood of a really powerful sales page to understand exactly how it works, piece by piece, as a masterclass in persuasion. The entire story kicks off with this one, single, jarring line. It's designed to make you feel something, instantly. It's this powerful emotional hook that taps right into a really deep-seated fear. But that's just the starting point. It's the first gear in a very, very sophisticated machine.
And that's really the central question here. How do you take one raw feeling and carefully build it up, amplify it, and then resolve it through this meticulously crafted narrative? We're going to trace that exact path, because this, right here, is the architecture of a modern sales story.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We'll start with how they actually define the problem. Then we'll meet the pretty unique guide who offers a solution. We're going to identify the story's villain, uncover the magic fix, analyze the offer itself, and then finally, we'll wrap it all up and summarize the entire blueprint.
See, before you can sell anyone a solution, you have to sell them on the problem. And it can't just be any problem, it has to feel like a big one. So the first step in this whole narrative is to take this vague, personal insecurity and just blow it up into a widespread, data-driven crisis.
And this is where the persuasion really starts to kick in. The sales page uses statistics to create something it calls the orgasm gap. So it claims men last about, 3 to 7 minutes, while women need more like 14 minutes. All of a sudden, a personal fear isn't just in your head anymore. It's a mathematical certainty, backed by what looks like data. It becomes a real, quantifiable crisis.
And then, bam, look at this. This is the next step. The narrative immediately takes that cold, hard data and translates it right back into a hot, painful emotion. That gap on the chart becomes personal failure. The copy uses these loaded words like let her down, not man enough, and humiliating to make the statistical problem feel like this deep personal wound. And just to really dial up the anxiety, the narrative then lays out the stakes. It's not just about one awkward moment. No. It's about a future of rejection, of passionless relationships, and the fear of being replaced. This is classic pain agitation. You make the cost of doing nothing feel absolutely unbearable.
So, with the problem established and really agitated, the story needs a hero. Or, well, maybe more accurately, a guide. And this is where the narrative introduces a very specific, and I mean very memorable, authority figure.
So our guide is named Stirling Cooper, and he's first introduced with all these scientific credentials. The page says he's a qualified chemist and scientist with a chemistry degree with double honors. This right here, this builds a foundation of logic, of research, of credibility. He's the smart guy on the lab coat, right?
But he's not just a scientist. He's also an award-winning adult entertainment star. And this combo creates this unforgettable persona, a truly unique authority. It masterfully blends the intellectual credibility of a scientist with the undeniable real-world performance of a top performer.
And this quote, which comes from a character in the story named Dan, it just perfectly cements this dual identity. This is the call to adventure that puts our unique hero on his quest, using his scientific background to solve a performer's problem.
Every good story needs a villain. And in persuasive stories, the most powerful villains are external ones. This is such a crucial step because it shifts the blame away from you, the customer. The message becomes, hey, it's not your fault. You're actually the victim of a bigger enemy.
So the villain is introduced through some simple science. The brain is presented as this battlefield between two chemicals. You've got glutamate, the excitatory chemical, which is the bad guy that makes you overstimulated, and then you've got GABA, the calming chemical, who's the good guy that helps you relax. It's a super clear, simple dichotomy of good versus evil.
And that villain is given a name, MSG, or monosodium glutamate. The story frames it as this kind of chemical weapon used by food manufacturers, a cheap flavor enhancer that's snuck into everything we eat. This makes the problem systemic. Suddenly, you're not just fighting your own body, you're fighting a hidden poison in the modern food supply.
So you've got a hero, you've got a great villain. What's next? Well, every hero needs a magic sword. Now that we have this common enemy, the narrative introduces a simple, powerful weapon to defeat it. This is the magic bullet solution.
And the premise of the solution is just elegantly simple. It directly answers the problem we just learned about. If the villainous glutamate is the issue, well, the solution is to just convert it into the heroic GABA. It's a clean, super satisfying narrative resolution.
And these are the components of that magic bullet.
the 6 so-called magical nutrients. Each one is presented as a key part of the formula, and they're all working toward that one simple goal, turning the bad guy chemical into the good guy chemical.
Okay, so the story is now complete. The problem, the guide, the villain, and the solution, they've all been established. The final act is all about presenting the offer in a way that feels both totally irresistible and completely risk-free.
First up, they stack the value. The core product gets bundled with these free bonuses, and each one has a specific dollar value attached to it. This technique just dramatically increases the perceived value of the whole package, which makes the actual asking price seem much, much smaller in comparison.
Next is the pricing structure. This is classic. The single bottle at $59 sets a price anchor. So by comparison, the 6-bottle package at only $39 per bottle is framed as the best value, which of course guides the customer toward the largest purchase. It's a classic choice architecture technique.
And honestly, this might be the most powerful part of the entire offer, the risk reversal. A 180-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. That's a full 6 months. This move effectively removes all financial risk from the customer's decision, making it so much easier to just say yes.
So we've just walked through the entire narrative, from that first emotional hook all the way to the final risk-free offer. Let's pull back now and look at the blueprint, the core techniques that really make this whole pitch work.
It all really comes down to these 6 key pillars. 1. Amplify the pain. 2. Establish a unique authority figure. 3. Create an external villain. 4. Offer a magic bullet solution. 5. Stack the value with bonuses. And number 6. Reverse the risk with a powerful guarantee. This is a formula, and I promise you, you will now start to see it everywhere.
And that's the real takeaway here, isn't it? This isn't just about one sales page. It's about a pattern, a structure for telling a persuasive story. So now that you can see the architecture, the question is, how differently will you view the next compelling story that asks you to take action?